District Court for the District of New Mexico is now in session. The Honorable Joel N. Carson III, United States Circuit Judge, presiding.
Right, ready. Ready? Hold. Present. Arms.
And bright star through the perilous night, o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly straight, and the rocket's red glare about bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, saved us that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. On the shore dimly seen through the mist of the moon, where the close hearted host in the dead silence cruise, what the west wind that breeze o'er the towering sea, as fitfully blows have concealed our fleet, now captures the gleam of the morning's first beam in full glory flag, dim that shines in the stream. 'Tis the star-spangled banner made wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly straight, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
right, everyone, the moment you've all been waiting for. Please take a seat. At this time, I would like to introduce United States Circuit Judge Joel M. Carson III, who will be presiding over today's ceremony. Judge? Very much. People don't normally clap for me, at least half of them don't. Anyway, thank you to Mark Johnson, our singer here today. Mark's a native New Mexican, and aside from a brief stint in Nashville, or maybe not so brief, several years, he's spent his whole life, 50-some years in New Mexico, and we appreciate him being here. I'm going to do a couple of things here. First, I'm going to introduce some people to you today who wanted to be here to share your special day with you. And I'm going to make some remarks. I do want everybody to know that if you have your camera with you and you want to take some pictures, you can feel free to do that today. And so you can have some memories of the event. So, I would like to start by introducing a law school friend of mine and the Chief Judge of the First Judicial District Court here in Santa Fe, Judge Brian Beach. And we're going to have a guest speaker today, and you're going to hear a lot more about her, but I'll give her a brief introduction now. It's Jessica Hernandez. We have great court staff here at the District of New Mexico who make all the things like this possible. And one of the people who's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting for this event is Gene Ryanel, who's the Santa Fe Division Deputy for our court. And we have Scott Ferguson from Albuquerque, who's our Spacing some folks from the Santa Fe County Clerk's Office. We have Catherine Clark. Mitchell Cox. Catherine Hamilton. Christy Brousseau. Angela Ortiz, Ashley Garcia, and Alex. I'm probably going to mess up your name, but they told me out back, but I'm not very good with names. Alex Genty. Was I close? Close. From the Social Security Office, we have Rhonda Rivera. Deanna Eckler. Marissa Cartier. Tanya Alicia Zabaleta. And we have some guests here today from the Daughters of the American Revolution, Stephen Watts Kearney chapter. Cheryl Ince. Carla Gustafson. Carol Mursky. Jane Shea. Are you supposed to be standing up over here? Carolyn Newton. Barbara Garrett. Rose Thompson. Charlotte Grace. Pam Schaefer. Allison Jones Lowe. And Amy Singley. 136 applicants for U.S. citizenship who came here from 37 different countries. This is one of the most important days of your life, and I am pleased that you've allowed me to share it with you. I also want to welcome your family members and your friends who have joined you on your special day. I have no doubt that our guests of honor, our 137 guests of honor, have benefited from the support and encouragement that you gave them through their journey toward becoming citizens. On their behalf, thank you for being here today and for all that you have done to support them on their road to citizenship. As a citizen of the United States of America, you have many new opportunities ahead of you. You're now eligible for many jobs, including jobs working for the government. You can start your own business. You'll have the opportunity to vote for the leaders of this country. You're going to be free to travel with the United States passport and all of the benefits that the document will provide to you. You're even free to petition for family members to join you here if they haven't already. So while today is your final step on the journey to citizenship, it is just the very first step of your journey as an American citizen. The road to naturalization is not an easy one. To get here, you had to complete extensive paperwork with too many questions, too long wait times, tests about your knowledge of the United States and its laws. And you had strangers deciding whether you are of good moral character, even though many of you have lived here and served this country for many years before today. Each of you are valuable members of your communities. You have lived, worked, and built a life in this country. You are caring parents, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, co-workers and friends. By being here in this country, you have made life better for the Americans around you. Today, we recognize you for the contributions you have already made to this country and your communities and the contributions that I have no doubt each of you will make in the future. I've really been looking forward to this ceremony because I know that it sometimes feels like people just can't agree on anything these days, particularly when it comes to politics and government. But as this day drew closer, I came to the conclusion that this is actually a much needed reminder of all that is good about our country, a reminder that no matter our problems, no matter what's dominating the news, no matter what challenges we must overcome, the United States of America is still one of the best countries in the world. I'm pretty sure we can all agree on that. And there's something else that everyone agrees on, and it is rare in public life in America for anything to be unanimous. But everyone can agree that each of you who followed the long path to citizenship is just as deserving, just as entitled, and just as welcome to call themselves Americans as if they had been born here. I'm sure that everyone agrees on that, and everyone agrees that when you are granted your citizenship in a few moments, America will have a new group of citizens that make it a better country today than it was yesterday. I am inspired by your dedication and humbled by your commitment to the process that has brought each of you here today. Please know that the future of this country is brighter because of people like you. Congratulations to each of you on your tremendous achievement. Okay, I'm going to ask now for Officer Albert Hart of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services to introduce each of the applicants or the applicants by citizenship by country. So when your country of origin is called, please stand briefly to be recognized, after which you may be seated. Okay, we had a program change. We have someone else going to make this happen.
Good morning, I'm Officer Jasmine Yu. I will be presenting the countries. So Honor, may support. The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services is pleased to present 134 applicants for the United States citizenship representing 37 countries. As the name of your country of nationality is called, please stand and be recognized. Then you may be seated. Afghanistan. Australia. Bangladesh. Belize. Brazil. Burundi. Cambodia. Canada. China. Colombia. Congo. Cuba. Dominican Republic. Egypt. El Salvador. Ethiopia. Finland. Germany. Ghana. Greece. Guatemala. India. Iraq. Israel. Mexico. Moldova. Pakistan. Peru. Philippines. South Korea. Spain. Switzerland. Taiwan. Thailand. Uganda. United Kingdom. And Vietnam. Your Honor, each applicant has been examined by designated adjudication officers and has been exhibited sufficient knowledge of the English language and thus exempt. They have been found to be of good moral character, subscribing to the principles of the Constitution, and well disposed to the good order and happiness of the United States. The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services is pleased to announce that upon taking the oath of allegiance, these applicants will become citizens of the United States of America. Your Honor, we request that all 133 applicants requesting name change be concurrently granted. Thank you, Your Honor.
That was great, getting to see all of the countries that are represented. And I think it's a good example of what our country is all about, with people from different backgrounds coming together. So at this time, I'm going to ask all of the applicants to stand up, and I'm going to administer the oath. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby declare absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform work or of national importance under civil direction when required by the law, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, so help me God. Thank you. Congratulations to you. I'm going to ask everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. You can be seated. I'm now going to ask Mark Johnson to perform the song God Bless America.
God bless America, Can everybody hear? Sing that out. God bless America, my home sweet. One more time. God bless America, my home
It's now my pleasure to introduce to you our guest speaker for today. Our guest speaker, I think, is proof that one person can do it all. She was a young lady going to college. She had her first child and still finished at the top of her class. And immediately thereafter enrolled over at the University of New Mexico Law School. And while she was there, she not only raised one child, but she had two by the time she graduated. And I can assure you, and Judge Beach and I went to UNM Law, they didn't take it easy on us. They wanted us to work. And so she was performing triple duty with all of her responsibilities to go to UNM Law School. And she graduated toward the top of the class there at UNM Law. And she also, after that, she was the recipient of a job, one of the most coveted jobs in the legal community in New Mexico, and that was as a law clerk to Judge James Browning in Albuquerque. And Judge Browning is a hard-working guy, and you go to work for him, and you've got a lot of work to do. And she spectacularly performed that job while raising two children. After that, she went to work at the Rody Law Firm here in New Mexico, one of the oldest and best firms here in New Mexico. And she was there for several years, I think 8 years total. I'll let her correct me when she gets up here. And then she was hired from the Rody Law Firm to be general counsel for the governor of the state of New Mexico. And she served in that position for a little over 4 years. And she was highly respected in that position, being one of the top lawyers for the state of New Mexico. After that, she was hired by Mayor Richard Berry in Albuquerque. And she went and became the Albuquerque city attorney for several years. And I think by all accounts, she did a great job in that position too. And I remind you, she did this all while raising a family of small children who have now gone on to college. They've graduated, and we're glad to have them back in New Mexico so they can continue to help our state be a better state. So one of the things that they always see, it seems, is that we raise kids up in the state and they move away. And it's great to see some of our best kids coming back to make a contribution here. So I won't go on. She's in practice for in a smaller firm now with Paul Kennedy, and they have a great law practice, highly respected. And I'm going to turn it over to her and let her give you a few words. So help me welcome Jessica.
Judge Carson, for that very kind introduction. And welcome to all of those here today, other distinguished guests, to the court staff, to the family members that are here, and also to my fellow citizens. I am so proud and honored to be here with you today on your very first day as a U.S. citizen. I was so humbled and grateful when Judge Carson invited me to be here with you today. It's an incredible honor for all of us in this room to be able to share this with you today. So thank you for that. Today is meaningful for so many different reasons. Obviously to each of you, the 134 individuals that have traveled this very, very long road to be right here taking the oath that you're taking today. There are 134 different stories behind all of those paths to get here. And we are enriched as a nation by those stories. And we're so grateful that you're willing to share them with us. So obviously this is a day that you will remember forever. It's also such a meaningful day for all the family and the friends and the loved ones that are here with you. I have no doubt that those loved ones and those family members were the biggest reasons and motivations for what you did to get where you are right now and for why you are here. So I want to recognize them for the role that they have played in walking alongside you to get here today. And we recognize them for their role and the part that they played in that. So I just want to recognize them too. This day is also incredibly significant and meaningful for our country as a whole. Because a day like this is so much bigger than any one person, because of what it symbolizes and because of what it represents of the American spirit and the ideals of what America is and what it means to be an American. What you're doing here today makes you a part of that, and it shows that what you're doing and what you've done here and what you've overcome to be here, it shows us that you represent so many of those ideals as well. The first way that you do that is by representing that American tradition and ideal of bringing people together from so many different places and so many different backgrounds. You each have so many different perspectives and histories and cultures that you are going to bring to join together with us and enrich us as a country. And as of today, each of you is connected to each other, to this new nation, to your fellow citizens, and also to those ideals as a nation that you have said that you believe in by being here. One of those core ideals is the belief that we are all created equal, that we all have certain God-given, unalienable rights. That means they can't be taken away. Of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That concept started with the Declaration of Independence, and I'm sure that you've heard it. But what makes America really, really special is the idea that when we started this country, we started it with the belief that we are born with those rights. The government does not give them to us. And we have given the government the power for the people to lead. That's what makes America so special. And we enshrined those concepts into the very core of our nation, into the very structure of who we are when we put those rights into the Constitution, into the Bill of Rights. And as Americans, we get to worship the way that we want to worship. We get to speak freely without fear. And that means we get to disagree. We can disagree with each other, we can disagree with our leaders, and we can do that without fear. It also means that we can be safe and secure in our homes and in our property, and that we're all equal among each other and equal before the law. That's what it means to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. And you're here today because you believe in those ideals, and what you're doing today demonstrates that, and it's also a shining example of the American spirit. The American spirit does not wait for opportunity to come to it. The American spirit recognizes opportunity and it pursues it. And that's what each of you have done. You have all gone through tremendous challenges to be where you are and to have the opportunities that you can have as American citizens. And you embody that American spirit in the way that you are each bringing your unique history, and culture, and perspective, and you will meld it together with our collective identity here. Hold on to those histories. That's what makes you who you are, and it is what makes us richer as a country. It makes us stronger, it makes us better, and we're grateful that you are sharing it with us. As I reflected on today, and being here with you, I thought about some of the ways that my life has been touched and impacted by this American tradition of immigration. And the strongest impact in my life in that way was when I got to share the experiences of the family that I married into. My father-in-law came from Mexico as a young man, so there's a big group over here. He first came alone. He worked at a restaurant for 6-7 days a week for several years before he could bring his wife and his 2 young children to join him. And I remember hearing stories about that time and how exhausted he was and how lonely he was, how uncertain and scared he was at times. Sometimes he would say he would be sick for weeks at a time because he couldn't afford anything but bread to eat. And I was 15 years old when I met him. And I had never met anyone like that before that had such a story of what they had done to sacrifice so much. And that made an impact on me. And when we had our children, we made sure that they knew what their grandparents had done and the price that they had paid to make sure that their family had those opportunities. I was always amazed by his strength and by his determination. And I remember how proud I was to be a little piece of their story. I remember how exciting it was to sit at the kitchen table and quiz them as they were getting ready to take their test for citizenship to do what you are doing here today. And I was just so excited to be a part of that with them and to be so close to who I thought were the heroes of that story. So some of your paths here may have been smoother than what my father-in-law's path was. I'm sure many have been much, much more difficult, with even more blood, sweat, and tears. But whatever your path has been to get here, we want you to know that we recognize it and we honor you for it, and we are very, very grateful that you're enriching us as a nation with it. So my father-in-law's story always inspired me. I was a teenager when I met him, and I thought a lot about that in my teenage years and into my early 20s. Judge Carson told you a little bit about my background. I grew up in a very, very modest, humble family, not a lot of financial means, and I grew up in a relatively poor part of Albuquerque. I went to a pretty rough high school. Most of the kids there were a lot more interested in the party that weekend or the fights between the rival groups of students than they were about science or math class. So I didn't really have a lot of examples around me to point me in a different direction. And my parents did not have a lot to give me financially, or they didn't have a lot of connections in the business world to offer me, but they gave me everything they had, and it was more than enough. They gave me a very strong foundation in what was right and what was wrong, how to treat people. They put a burning desire in me to do everything I did to the absolute best of my ability. And they pushed me really hard in school, which turned out I was halfway decent at. So that's where I put my attention. And my parents really helped to steer me in that, and I really believed that anything was possible. So about halfway through high school, I knew that I wanted something different. I knew I needed to get away from the environment that I was in and the path that I might have been on with some of the kids around me. And so because school was my strength, that's what I looked to as my door of opportunity, because we all have those different doors. And so when I was about halfway through high school, I applied to the University of New Mexico to see if they would start letting me take classes there. And they said yes, and I was so excited. So don't be afraid to ask for something or to go for it when you think you're capable of it. Don't be afraid to take a chance on yourself and on what you are capable of doing, and ask for those opportunities. And people will give them to you. And once you get those opportunities, pursue them with every bit of strength that you have. So when the University of New Mexico gave a 16-year-old kid a chance to go into a new world, I took it. And I gave it everything I had. And I took as many classes as I could take. I did nights, I did weekends, I did summers. I asked for permission to take extra classes. I looked for ways to take tests to get credit for classes. I just was doing everything I possibly could to graduate as soon as I could, because that was my passion, and that was what I used as my opportunity. So 2 years later, as an 18-year-old kid, I was graduating from college. And I was very excited about that. There were challenges along the way. As Judge Carson said, about 8 months before I graduated from college, I found out that we were having my daughter. Turned out to be one of the greatest blessings. But as an 18-year-old college student with no job, no income, it was a little bit scary. But I leaned on the people around me, like you have leaned on the people around you that supported me, and I kept making the most of those opportunities. Now I have 2 beautiful children. My daughter Alexis is 24. She's studying to be a counselor, working on her master's degree, and my son Andrew is 21. And I could not be more proud of him. He just finished college with a degree in film. So I kept making the most of those opportunities. I graduated from college right before I turned 19. I started law school with my daughter, had my son a year or so later. I didn't know any lawyers when I started that. I had never spent any time with lawyers. I didn't even know what it meant to be a lawyer. But There was something inside me that had lit a fire to do that, and I wanted to chase it. I wanted to pursue that dream. And because I lived here in the United States, I could chase that dream. And it didn't matter that I was young, or that I was inexperienced, or that I didn't have any family money or business connections. It didn't matter because I had opportunities. And that was what I needed. And throughout my career, I've been continually blessed with more and more of those opportunities. I had the chance to work with U.S. District Judge James Browning, and he brought me to my first ceremony like this 20 years ago. And I'm so excited to be at another one with you here today, 20 years later. When I worked with Judge Browning, it really showed me the importance of equal access to our courts, equal protection under the law, no matter who was knocking at the courthouse door. When I worked in Governor Susana Martinez's office as her attorney and her deputy chief of staff, I was thrilled to have that opportunity to try to work on policies that would improve the lives of all the Mexicans. And then when I worked as the city attorney with Mayor Barry and the city council, we tried to tackle everyday problems that people of Albuquerque were facing. Public safety issues, homelessness issues, housing issues. And now in my own law firm, I work every day with people that need legal protection when they're going through some of those difficult times in their lives. And I've been very, very blessed to have those opportunities. In a country that lets all of us chase our dream. That country that we all call home together. So as you leave today, embrace everything that it means to be an American. Embrace the freedom that you have to pursue the dream you have inside of you, whatever it is that brought you here. Whatever dream you have for your family, for your future, you have the opportunity to chase that dream. Embrace all the differences among us. Those differences are part of our strength. It's what makes our country the great nation that it is. And embrace all the privileges that come with being an American. As you do that, remember there are responsibilities of citizenship as well.
Those were nice remarks and a great song. And it was great to see all the flags waving out there. I'm going to close with just letting all of you know how happy I am and how proud I am to be your fellow citizen here in the United States. You've got a great time ahead of you being a U.S. citizen, and I hope you take full advantage of it. I do also want to let you know that after we close up the proceeding here, Judge Beach and Jessica Hernandez and I will be down in front here. If any of you would like to come up and say hello, we would love to shake your hand or meet your family or whatever you want to do. So this time I'm going to turn it over to Jeannie to give some instructions to you, and we'll proceed from there. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Congratulations again. So when court is recessed, all new citizens should remain in their seats. The congressional staff and civic organizations are to line up on the left side of the judge in front of the stage bench in order to congratulate the new citizens. The new citizens, upon hearing their names called, come forward to receive their certificates of naturalization. Representatives from the county clerk's office, Social Security Administration, U.S. Department of Labor, and the U.S. Post Office are here to assist new citizens with voter registration, employment rights, and passport processing. The tables are located in the lobby or on the back side of this room. At this time, court stands in recess. Thank you and congratulations, everyone.
Before I start calling out your names so you can come up for your certificate, I have a quick announcement. When you receive your certificate, it's important that you review the information on the certificate. If you walk out today with some error and you come back to us, you have to reapply with an N600, which costs about $500 to correct that. So it's important that you review your certificate when you receive it. Second thing is, now that you're a U.S. citizen, you can also petition for your family members by submitting Form I-130. Other information are USCIS does not issue U.S. passport. That would be the Department of State. You have the application on your packet that we gave you at the check-in. You can review those and apply to the Department of State. And lastly, Social Security Administration. You have to go to Social Security Administration to update your status to U.S. citizen. They won't do it automatically. You have to go in or give them a call about a month from now and let them know if you are a U.S. citizen. Okay? If you have any other questions, USCIS staff is around. We have little booth badges here. You guys can come and ask us any questions. Okay? So, our staff will be guiding you to come up for your certificate of citizenship. Norberto Alvarez.
No, you go down to top.
Berta Lopez Hernandez. Cesar Gallegos Garcia. Lázaro Antonio Barras,
Ya va a pasar frente, ya va a pasar por ahí afuera.
Leonardo Esquivel Montes,
Dale, pues. No sé si quedan películas. Ok, bye.
Carlos Enrique Galindo,
Yankee. Venga.
María de los Ángeles Balmaceda Franco, Kate Elizabeth Garwood States, Elaine Rose Davis, Victor David Carrera, Naomi Vanessa Manero Carrera, Araceli Montoya,
Yes.